Good afternoon. I'm Brian Reagan. This is
Tyler Kelly.
And today, for our midday meditation, we are in the Gospel of Mark, chapter 14, verses 10 and 11. Tyler.
Then Judas Iscariot, one of the 12, went to the chief priests to betray him to them, and when they heard it, they were glad and promised to give him money. So he sought how he might conveniently betray him.
So, why have they been brought to this? As we read the Gospels, we learn that they tried to have the temple soldiers take Jesus, and when they came back without him, the chief priests were like, "Where is he?" And like, "Oh man, you guys have never heard anybody like him." And they're like, "Really? We sent you guys to capture him and bring him back here, and y'all converted." And so how Judas knew that they were willing to pay some money for someone to key them in, this has caused people some difficulty. They're like, well, Jesus, even Jesus makes the point. He says, "I was with you in the temple every day. How come you're coming and taking me at night? You're a bunch of cowards." That's the unspoken part of what Jesus said. Y'all are a bunch of cowards. And what was the issue? They were cowards. They didn't want to take Jesus because they feared the crowd. They didn't want to lose their popularity. They didn't want to incite a riot and then get Rome mixed up in it at the wrong time. So if they can know where Jesus will be at something other than normal daylight times, then they can go on ahead and take him, and it doesn't cause an uproar with the people. And you say, well, what was Judas's motive? I don't know. It might have been greed. 30 pieces of silver. Maybe he thought the trial would go different. Maybe he figured, Jesus is so smart, he's gotten himself out of other pinches before. He'll get himself out of this, and I can make a little bit of quick money on the side. Jesus spend a night or two in jail, and then he's back out.
And they won't ever know that I was the one who did it.
They won't ever know. And I think, and this is just a me thinks, I think Judas had reached that point where he either had to commit or quit. All those years of being around someone of that level of holiness, and this is a difference in Jesus and in everything Christian today. Jesus' apostles were some of the worst people we read about in the pages of Scripture. I mean, really and truly, other than David, most of these guys were horrible people. No. Yeah. Between family strife, sibling strife, at least half of the apostles were cousins with each other. They were always trying to supplant each other politically, socially. Judas was stealing. James and John with their mother always jockeying for power. They were just as bad and as wicked and as greedy as anybody else. And I think all of them were reaching that place where either they're going to have to get serious with this thing or they're going to have to go back. But I want you to see how Jesus dealt with them. He fired them all because they weren't meeting up to his standard, and they were engaging in subterfuge and plotting and scheming in secret against one another to take power. So no, that's not what Jesus did. I think Judas saw a chance for some money. No one will ever know that he's the one who did this little thing, that he got paid for it. I don't know, maybe Judas was thinking he could switch sides. If he gives up Jesus, maybe he'll give him another opportunity somewhere else. I've listened to people dog Judas for years. And then I watch the machinations that go on in the lives of people. And this is a truth, Tyler, that most people don't want to admit. I think the reason why people hate Judas so much is because they know in their own hearts they've engaged in something similar, and they would do it again if they thought it served what they thought was a good means. What? Every time we gossip, we're a Judas. Every time we pick one side over the other because there's a financial or social advantage to us, even though it's not 100% right, and the other person on the hurt end of it is stuck having to get along with us because socially they don't have any choice. There's a Judas. It's easy to condemn Judas and the Apostle Peter on this page. But we like to condemn them because there's something there. That we know is within each one of us until we all submit fully to Jesus Christ and recognize our sinfulness and quit playing games about it. You have some other thoughts?
No, sir.
With that, I'm Brian Reagan. This is
Tyler Kelly.
We bid you good afternoon.